2023 at 7:30 p.m. Council President Nelson and Council Members Brzezinski, Faulkner, Flores, Keys, Troop, and Witherspoon.
Stand for sound rotation.
Moment of silence, please. Anybody have anyone they want to remember?
Let's remember our Officer Ryan after he lost his wife Emily last week.
Anyone else? Dear Heavenly Father, we come before you, first of all, grateful and thankful because you are great and you are mighty, and you assembled us in this place today to make good decisions on the part of the city, and we just hope by your aid that we're able to do so.
Pledge allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Approval of the minutes from the Wednesday, December 6, 2023 City Council meeting and bills for payment on December 22nd and 29th. Mr. Brzezinski, Councilmember Faulkner, Flores, Keys, Troop, Witherspoon, and Nelson.
How's his presentation? Come on, hand me that.
Alrighty, I'm going to present Chuck with his plaque for the 2023 presidential year. It was a successful year, and we've done a lot of great work for our community. And I look forward to the next coming years.
Each. I'll say that in my committee report, but I've got a couple more to pass out as well.
You don't have to ask him.
Hey, so we have, we'll be recognizing some of the council members that will be concluding their term, and so we've got 3 of those here today. The first one is Ms. Faulkner. She was an appointee that spent this year with us. I spent the week looking over our scoreboard as to everything we accomplished this year, and she had some really great highlights on there. Her work with the tenants' rights. I think last night, if anyone tuned into the budget meeting, I think she had as many proposals as anyone, probably more than anyone, and she's been very diligent to do the job this year. So I appreciate the work she's put in this year, and have a little plaque to commemorate her year of service. The second one we have is Councilman Keys. He served a term here for the last 4 years. He came onto that term at first by whooping my butt in an election, so that's always appreciated and should be acknowledged. And
Mine as well.
looking at the last years, I think he's had some very clear priorities that he's been able to put forward, and he's been a strong voice for the community and for his neighborhood, and has been appreciated here for these 4 years. So I want to congratulate and thank you. Also coming up here is Mr. Witherspoon. This is the 3rd term in a row for him, so this plaque commemorates 2012 through 2023. He's the veteran statesman of our board here, and has been a great asset to teaching us and keeping us up to speed. So I have this plaque for you. Yeah, I'm up on the step. Keep standing for one more second. Since Mel's been here for a little longer than the rest of us, we're going to acknowledge him a little extra. Mr. Witherspoon, we got you something extra here.
Oh,
We're retiring your jersey here tonight. We got the city council official jersey here. Your old college number here, your old college colors. We threw a captain's patch on it. because I feel like you've been the captain of this council for a long time. And here as a plaque, we've got a list of your accomplishments. Not just the last 3, as this plaque commemorates, but he is a 5-term councilman. We've got the different Hall of Fames you're in: 2-time council president in '98 and 2014. 1990 established Spoons League, 2nd African American ever elected to city council. Served on council originally from 1996 to 2003. 2001 candidate for mayor. 2012 to 23 back on city council. 2015 he had a portion of East 19th Street renamed the Witherspoon Lane. 2017 Gannon Hall of Fame inductee. 2019 Newark Hall of Fame inductee. So we got your jersey right here retired, and I made sure they actually made it your size in case you want to bust it out of the case and wear it around.
Did we spill Newark, Rick?
I'll get that fixed, man.
Nice work. And well deserved.
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Good job.
Yes.
Wow.
All right, with that, do we have any repository sales? Do we have any repository sales? Do we have any repository sales? Moving on to public comments.
Art Leopold from Erie, honored council members and esteemed council ladies, administration. I want to, all the times I've been before council, this year probably the least, because you haven't gotten into much trouble this year. You've done some really good things.
Thank you.
And so, from the community side, from my side, I've only had to urge you on maybe half a dozen times, maybe. But I want to bring honor to those folks that are moving on. Susanna, bright light, wonderful council person. You moved a lot of good things in the city. Mr. Keys, tremendous work in the community. I appreciate all you've done. I hope you've got more to do, as I do for Susanna. And of course, that brings me to Spoon. Spoon and I go back 40 plus years. It's crazy when I think about it. He and I used to butt heads on the basketball court, and then when my kids were in basketball and I was coaching, he used to be a referee. And one time, he threw me out of a game. I don't hold it against him. It's okay. He says, Art, you deserved it. That's cool. But what we know for sure, the Spoon is a winner here. He's a winner on the court. He's a winner for life, and we appreciate him. I appreciate you, my friend.
Thank you, sir.
So, I just want to thank you for being public servants, for contending when you needed to, for not being nasty when you could have been, and for getting something done when you have to. So I appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Art.
Thank you, Art. That's classy.
Good evening, Council. Dominic Bazanco is my name, 3610 Harvard Road. I'm actually sorry that I have to come up here and tell you what's going on in my neighborhood at 32nd and Green Garden, but it should be made, you guys should be made aware of it since it's the city's problem. I can't tell you how many times in the last few years I've heard everyone in the government talk about addressing blight in the city and the methods you've decided to use to control blight or punish blight by any means. But down the street from my house, 32nd and Green Garden, there's a residence there, and I am in no way faulting the owner of that property in these comments. I'm faulting the city because it's been 3 weeks and I've been waiting and going, is this really going to take me to a city council meeting where I have to bring it up. And sure as heck it did. The owner placed a box spring out on the street for garbage night, and it wasn't picked up. And the next week, it wasn't picked up. And last weekend, Sunday's garbage night, it wasn't picked up, but it was also accompanied with a recliner now. So now I've got furniture sitting out down the street from my house for 3 weeks, which means, what you should understand, is whether somebody made a phone call or not, your people have driven by that garbage for 3 weeks and said, not my job. I don't think that's very responsible, considering last year you raised the fees on us for garbage night, and in a few minutes you're probably going to do it again. What that also means is that the code enforcement officer, who's supposed to be surveying those neighborhoods and looking for problems just like this, hasn't been out of his office to go do it, and gee whiz, how many electronic devices have you purchased to modernize the abilities of that office? And now you gave him a new car. So, that's perfect excuse to not get up there and, issue a ticket, a whole ticket. So the city's letting garbage sit out in my neighborhood for 3 weeks so somebody can go write a ticket. And the guy that's writing a ticket isn't even going out. And what also that means is that the guy who's supposed to be supervising the code enforcement officer isn't doing his job, because that stuff's been sitting there and passed by 3 different times now. So, maybe if it's not that big of a deal to have garbage sitting out there, I can get back in my truck across the street. I'll go pick it up and bring it right back down here. Or if any one of you wants to raise your hands, I'll drop it off in your front yard and see how much you guys like living with it. So maybe one of you guys would go kick somebody in the butt and get this taken care of, whether there's a ticket or not, to be enforced. Just get this garbage off the street. Thank you.
My name is Minister Lauren Cooley. My wife told me to be patient with y'all today, so I'm going to do my best. December the 13th, I went to the Blighton. Well, they had a Zoom meeting, but I was here in this presence.
Speak up, sir.
December the 13th, I guess y'all got some feedback back there. Something wrong with your speakers. December the 13th, I went to one of the Blighton meetings to try to present my case. It was difficult because I was just talking to the wall because I couldn't, see anybody. But now, at the end of the meeting, nonetheless, I did get conversation with Andy Zimmerman, the Redevelopment Authority Executive Director. Can y'all hear me? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay. I did get an audience with them, and, of course, Mike Lavery. And we sat out there and we talked for a minute. I gave them my information, and they took my phone number and everything out. They were supposed to get back to me about the program. Now, Mike told me that I can appeal. It's not about appealing his decision. It's about disciplinary action that I'm seeking for 2 of your agents, and that's Mike Lavery and Jake Benny. As I stated before, it was an attempt to get even with me because they lost the case. I got all the paperwork here. Every agency has a HR. Every business has some form of HR. Now, as I stated in December the 6th, y'all are responsible for all 3 of the agencies, code enforcement, rental agency, and Blighton. So I'm looking for some audience so that I can present my evidence about what's going on. And I'm not here to really just be at a form a forum where y'all just listen to me. I'm here to get feedback because y'all are the HR. Y'all supposed to direct me in where I should go to get action taken against these two individuals. So I know y'all not going to say nothing, and that's okay. But I want to say this also. I asked myself, what was the real reason for the push on the poor with blighting? In 1920, you had a depression. It began as a recession, just like ours began. And at the end of the recession, 1930, the city was passing out money, just like they're doing now. And redlining began. And I'm beginning to see the redlining that's taking place with the poor right now. See, in 1848, you had a gold rush. And in the process of getting rid of the Indians, they made laws. They pushed laws to push the Indians off the land. I hope y'all really listening. So they succeeded in pushing the Indians off the land. I say, ever since the Bayfront Project started, y'all seem to just can't tolerate the poor being where they are. And that's a shame, because every time something happened, the poor had to be moved for y'all satisfaction. Now, I was here listening to, I went over the December meeting, and I saw where the multicultural resettlement program is issuing out, trying to help the airport receive funds. Now, I would like to state this to y'all if y'all really listening. Katie Creed said that they have an annual of 1,000 passengers per day coming into this city to resettle. You're tearing down the houses, you're going to create a perfect storm. You're going to create a perfect storm. The perfect storm is eliminating the poor, but finding place for the foreigners, and I appreciate the foreigners having a place to stay. My problem is you're attacking the poor, and even though I stated the last time that we didn't pay taxes, everybody whose houses you're blighting is paying taxes. They may be behind in their taxes, but they're paying taxes. Okay, so therefore, how is it that nonprofit agencies can get your attention, foreign affairs can get your attention, but the poor can get nothing? Now, I'm not begging for money. I don't want no money. I just want you to see the picture.
Thank you, Pastor Fuller.
Okay,
Did you
one
sign
second.
in the back? Did you sign in the back so we could get a hold of you?
Yes, I did. No, I had to say I did the same thing with code enforcement. They didn't get back to me.
Okay.
So my problem is,
Yeah.
y'all got a campaign going here that just ain't really going to benefit. Now,
Your
Mike Keys
time's
is.
up, but if you signed in back there with a contact, I'll give you a call.
I'm gonna be waiting on that call.
Thank you, Pastor Fuller.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Good evening and happy holidays, so we hope. I just have a couple odds and ends dealing with finance and taxes in the
Name and
city.
residency.
Pardon?
Name and residency.
Tim Smith, Erie City for about 40 years, surrounding areas the rest of my life. Okay?
Thanks.
Anyway, as I understand, the city population, these numbers since 2017, the end of 17, beginning of 18, city population has declined about 5%. I'm sure you're all aware of these numbers. the poverty level, City of Erie is approximately 25% of the population. The non-taxable real estate's about 30-some percent, as I understand. The other wonderful things, general fund spending is up 32%. Earned income tax rates up 40%. Real estate taxes are up 13%. Trash fees are up 19%. The service charges for water are up 30%. For sewer, up 47%. The usage rates for water up 23%, and the sewer up 25%. And the only reason I'm here is because I've talked to Moss Sala once or twice or 3 times, and eventually I get a phone number, and I call the people who he said to call, and I never get a return phone call. As a matter of fact, I've never got a return phone call from anybody in the City of Erie at any department since I lived in the city. But anyway, I guess my concern is, and the only reason I'm here is because I'm still in the city, and I do have a concern about the City of Erie, and I sort of care about the City of Erie. The mayor says he wants to get another 11,000 residents into the city, which is a great idea, but your tax rates, as you know, 65% higher for earned income tax than the surrounding municipalities. The taxes go up, the service fees go up. They threw in a new tax for the stormwater management, and I presume they say they're hiring a couple more people. I just wonder who used to do that, and did they get rid of those people? But anyway, it's just the continual spending you're going to see the drain. The only place you go is keep raising real estate taxes. Now, I'm an old person. I live on fixed income, and I'm still waiting for the golden years. Do you ever hear those things? Well, they bypassed me so far. But anyway, it's 2 things. Costs, I guess, do go up, but they have to find ways of reducing the spending other than increasing the taxes. Now, I don't know what kind of analysis work you do on, the various departments and the staffing requirements and all that kind of good stuff, but I've talked to former employees, and they give me some insights that the city might be overstaffed by maybe 20%. That's wonderful. Well, I understand the mayor, from talking to people who are just recently gone, says he keeps hiring people, which doesn't make sense to me, but a lot of things, I guess, don't make sense to me anymore. Anyway, the other thing I called and talked to Mr. Sala about was the estimated $30 million they want to pour into the building they bought up on State Street. And so I asked him, he gave me the phone number of a gentleman to call in Public Works, who never returned my call. And then Mr. Sala called me a week later and tells me to file a right to know form. I mean, it's the City of Erie. I don't need to go through more bureaucracy. They don't return phone calls, and they hit you with right to know forms. I mean, it just doesn't make sense. Like I said, the only reason I'm here is I do care about the city. I don't have that much longer to run, needless to say, in the city. I'll be checking out someday here. But the other is, if they want to put $30 million in that building up there, take a couple million, that's fine. But the City of Erie could build 100 $300,000 houses in the city with that same amount of money. So I'm not so sure that prudent is the word to be used for some of the spending that's being done. So anyway, have a wonderful holiday.
Thank you.
And you won't see me again. Thank you. Bye.
Good evening, Council. Kathy Schaff, Erie City resident. I want to piggyback on what Art said. Thank you to Michael, Susanna, and Mel for your commitment and service to the Erie community. As you know, it's not an easy job, and it takes someone dedicated like yourselves to keep us moving along. Thank you. I want to mention the closing of the Rite Aid stores on 6th and Parade and 28th and Parade. And I know that Parade corridor has some plans, and I was wondering what their plans are for those buildings, if they were able to purchase them. I was also thinking maybe they could incorporate them into some kind of low-income apartments, because those buildings are pretty big. So I was just putting it out there. The one on 6th and Parade has a lot of land, it seems, around it. So they could incorporate parking there, which they have, and some green space and things like that. So that would be awesome. I saw Ed tonight on the news about saying no about the fees, and Ed does have some good points. And I was wondering if we know the percentage of the senior citizens on fixed incomes that are living in the city of Erie. Because there definitely are people out there in their 90s and in their late 80s who are still living at home and on fixed incomes. And so, you know, even a $20 increase seems, you know, to a working person, okay, I got this, but to someone who is strictly on a budget, that does pose a concern. Which brings me, when I was on council, several people had reached out to me who have a 2-unit apartment, and they have to pay 2 times for the sewer and the garbage, and it's because they could not convert it to just, they didn't make it just a 1 unit. And so those people did express their concerns to me, and it wasn't just one person. There are several people out there. I don't have specific names, but here I remember about that situation. They are the elderly who have to pay twice, so that was a concern. I don't know if you've heard that complaint before. So thank you. So we need to breathe this time of the year, and we need to slow down. Every single day I have to stop myself and not go right away on the green, because there's always someone going through a red. And that's crazy.
Yeah.
Have a great day.
Thank you, Kathy.
We're going to take a pause from public comments because we have a public hearing scheduled at 8 o'clock.
Resolved by the Council of the City of Erie, receiving the communication from the City Planning Commission recommending the request for waterfront conditional use submitted by homeowner Del Birch, construction of a 1-story rear addition to an existing 2-family dwelling located at 314 316 East 2nd. Parcel ID 141052-140. The property is located in the waterfront conditional residential district, and we are having a public hearing to hear his case. Anyone that is testifying will need to be sworn in by the stenographer.
Yeah. Or anyone speaking against you.
Stand up, Bill.
You need,
Anyone here for the public hearing, could you please stand to be sworn in?
You're speaking about the development on Parade Street?
You missed it there.
After
You can speak, but you have to wait until after the public hearing to continue. So we just swore in people for the public hearing.
That's fine.
Thank you. So in that case, there's no one to speak about this,
In favor of?
Yes,
Yeah,
get
you should-
sworn.
just in case.
Dale, you're an idiot. Been here for 35 years.
In the record.
Sorry.
Just give me step one, step two. Hi, good evening, everybody. I'm Del Birch, D-E-L, last name Birch, B-I-R-C-H. I've been living at 209 Parade Street, a 3-unit house that I've owned since and lived in since 1993, so 30 years in the city. Hopefully you have the, thank you for allowing me to speak tonight. Hopefully you have the information packet that was sent to you. The whole idea is I'm living right now at 209 Parade Street. That's a 3-unit residence. I plan to downsize and simplify my life as I get older by building the addition at 314, 316 East 2nd Street. I'll be living on that expanded first floor and simply renting out the second floor. It's a double lot. There's off-street parking. It's a red brick building with front porches, everything that I like with city living. So that's the whole idea. You should have that packet of information. I have my team ready to start on this after we go through the waterfront residential process. So that's the whole idea. If you have any questions, I can answer them.
Does anyone have any questions after reviewing the material?
You look pretty shady to me, Birch.
Excuse me now?
I'm teasing you.
Okay.
I know you have been a stalwart in the neighborhood for a lot of years, and I congratulate you for everything you've done down there.
Well, thank you, Ed. We appreciate it.
And I was just going to comment, congratulations on your future retirement and the new addition for your future planning.
I'm semi-retired. That's real important.
Okay.
I hated retirement. I went back to work because I couldn't take the downtime. But thank you.
You're welcome.
All right.
I think we're good.
Do we have to vote on this?
No, we are just hearing his presentation with his plans, and then we will vote on it most likely the next meeting.
All right. Thank you, Del.
Thank you, everybody. Appreciate it. Happy
Thank
holidays.
you. Happy
Okay,
holidays.
Del.
All right. And with that, we adjourn the public hearing and move on back to public comment.
Kathy Jr., here we go.
Now that you're all sworn in, you're ready.
Thank you. Good evening. I'm Sister Phyllis Hilbert, Phyllis Hilbert. I'm resident of Erie, city of Erie. Good evening. During this holiday season of recognizing and often helping to fulfill basic needs for others, we wanted to take a moment to convey some thoughts about a need that is perhaps less heartwarming for this season of goodwill, and not as often mentioned, like food or warm clothing may be at this time of year. That need is the need for public restrooms for the unhoused and for public spaces. In our capacity serving neighborhoods in the heart of this great city, we have seen many success stories, but also much heartbreak. And some of them even in the form of human waste, left on the very streets, vacant lots, and green spaces we work hard to preserve. In our current role working with many gardens and green spaces, we, along with neighbors, teen garden workers, volunteers, and more, maintain and grow food on several plots. I have witnessed and personally cleaned up such waste countless times. It's not fun, and it makes you a bit angry until you realize the human need for a public restroom. It's certainly a humbling experience, but more importantly, it's a reminder to all of us at the SSJ Neighborhood Network, and should be a reminder and a red flag for all of us in the city that public restroom facilities are needed in a city of our size. We understand that the Downtown Partnership, some council members past and present, and other concerned citizens and partners have also recognized this issue. We also understand that the maintenance and funding to address such a need may be a challenge. However, there are portable restrooms in at least one city park, and the addition of another within our footprint, such as Ruby Schaaf Park or Columbus Park, would seem attainable and a temporary solution. We thank you for the opportunity to address this human and humane issue, and we look forward to working with you. Thank you.
Any other public comments? Any other public comments? Any other public comments? All right, moving on to ordinances for final passage tonight.
An ordinance amending the codified ordinances of the City of Erie, Part 9, Utilities and Public Service Code, Title 5, Sewers and Water, Article 933, Sewer Rental, Section 93302A, Sewer Rates by increasing the meter quantity charged per 100 cubic feet per quarter for the first 70 cubic feet from $3.65 to $3.74, and the next 4,930 cubic feet from $3.47 to $3.55, and usage over 5,000 cubic feet from $3.25 to $3.33, and by increasing the large volume user charges per 100 cubic feet per month for the first 23 cubic feet from $3.65 to $3.74, and the next 1,644 cubic feet from $3.47 to $3.55, and all other usage over 1,667 cubic feet from $3.25 to $3.33. Sponsored by Councilmember Troop, seconded by Councilmember Witherspoon, that Council File Ordinance Bill Number 16403, and now known as Official File Ordinance 77, 2023, be finally passed by City Council. Mr. Brzezinski?
No.
Ms. Faulkner? Flores? Keys? Troop? Witherspoon? Nelson? City Council passed Official File Ordinance 77, 2023 by yeas 6, nays 1. Council File Number 16404, Official Ordinance 78, 2023, an ordinance amending the codified ordinances of the City of Erie, Part 9, Utilities and Public Service Code, Title 7, Other Public Services, Article 951, Residential Refuse, Section 95109, Garbage and Refuse Collection Fee, increasing the quarterly collection fee from $272.38 per year to $287.60 per year. The annual collection fee shall be assessed against each dwelling unit and billed on a quarterly basis. Sponsored by Councilmember Troop, seconded by Councilmember Witherspoon, that Council File Ordinance Bill Number 16404, and now known as Official File Ordinance 78, 2023, be finally passed by City Council. Member Brzezinski.
Mr. President, if I may, once again, I am going to be probably the only no, but I cannot
live with myself, knowing that we are taxing the people that are hurt the worst with this fee increase. That's all I'm going to say again. I wish I had more power to change the minds of the people. It's not fair to those. Landlords are not going to pay that extra fee. The poorest of the poor who are renting are going to get that added on. I just want to let everybody know that, because I've been adamantly against it for my 4 years on council, and I will continue to do that. It's a backdoor tax, and to me it's garbage. And I say no. Thank you.
Councilmember Faulkner, Flores, Keys, Troop, Witherspoon.
Mr. President, I second that because I needed to get on the dais for discussion. My feeling is basically the same or equal to, in this case, Mr. Brzezinski. I'm going to vote no, even though I second it for discussion. Thank you.
Council President Nelson. City Council passed official file ordinance 78-2023, finally by yeas 5, nays 2. Council file number 16406, official ordinance 79-2023, an ordinance appropriating the sum of $69,646.02 from unappropriated and anticipated revenue to be received from the Enterprise Zone Revolving Loan Fund for utilization in the flagship Commodore Fund. Sponsored by Councilmember Keys, seconded by Councilmember Troop. The Council file ordinance bill number 16406, and now known as official file ordinance 79-2023, be finally passed by City Council. Members Brzezinski, Faulkner, Flores, Keys, Troop, Witherspoon, Nelson. City Council passed official file ordinance 79-2023, finally by yeas 7, nays 0. Council file number 16408, official ordinance 80-2023, an ordinance amending Part 9, Title 7, Other Public Services by creating Article 952, honorary renaming of streets, secondary street signs, to establish a process and procedure for the ceremonial renaming of streets in the city of Erie. Sponsored by Councilmember Witherspoon, seconded by Councilmember Keys. The Council file ordinance number 16408, and now known as official file ordinance 80-2023, be finally passed by City Council. Members Brzezinski, Faulkner, Flores, Keys, Troop, Witherspoon, Nelson.
Mr. President, let's not forget Sister Miller, that was supposed to be done last month, to make sure we get that on the docket.
Yep.
Thank you.
Just talking to Kathy about it next year.
We'll make sure it happens.
Council passed official file ordinance 80-2023 by yeas 7, nays 0. Council file number 16410, official ordinance 81-2023, an ordinance amending Article 142, Section 14203, to identify the boards, commissions, or authorities whose members are exempt from the residency requirements of Article 142. Sponsored by Mr. Nelson, seconded by Councilmember Flores. The Council file ordinance bill number 16410, and now known as official file ordinance 81-2023, be finally passed by City Council.
Just to check, everybody, do we have any discussion on this one? Okay, cool, never mind. Cool.
Council members Brzezinski,
You made me nervous. You
Faulkner.
voted against it on the first reading.
Flores, Keys, Troop, Witherspoon, Nelson. City Council passed official file ordinance 81-2023 by yeas 7, nays 0. Council File Number 16399, Official Ordinance 82, 2023. An ordinance of the City of Erie and Commonwealth of Pennsylvania adopting the general fund and certain other budgets for the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2024, as amended. Sponsored by Council President Nelson, seconded by Councilmember Flores. The Council File Ordinance Bill Number 16399, and now known as Official File Ordinance 82, 2023, be finally passed by City Council. Mr. Brzezinski? Ms. Faulkner? Ms. Flores? Keys? Troop? Witherspoon? President Nelson. City Council passed Official File Ordinance 82, 2023, finally by yeas 7, nays 0. Council File Number 16400, Official Ordinance 83, 2023, an ordinance fixing the tax rate for all city purposes for the fiscal year 2024, beginning January 1st, 2024, and ending December 31st, 2024. Sponsored by Council President Nelson, seconded by Councilmember Flores. The Council File Ordinance Bill Number 16400, and now known as Official File Ordinance 83, 2023, be finally passed by City Council. Members Brzezinski, Faulkner, Flores, Keys, Troop, Witherspoon, Nelson. City Council passed Official File Ordinance 83, 2023, finally by yeas 7, nays 0. Moving on to ordinances for first reading. Council File Number 16412, an ordinance appropriating the sum of $25,000 from unappropriated and unanticipated revenue from a donation for winter maintenance from Working Progress LLC and providing for the expenditure thereof. Sponsored by Councilmember Brzezinski, seconded by Councilmember Troop. The Council File Ordinance Number 16412, and now, having been read, is hereby adopted on first reading by City Council. Council members Brzezinski, Faulkner, Flores, Keys, Troop, Witherspoon, Nelson. City Council read and adopt Council File Ordinance 16412 by yeas 7, nays 0 on first reading. Council President, this moves us to new business.
Motion to move the balance.
I'll second.
Second.
Yeah.
I'll third it.
Well, he looked over at me. I'm like, you're still in charge.
Oh, we're all looking at Ed.
Oh, they were looking at
always
Ed.
kick it off.
Okay. I'm like, I looked over and everyone was just.
Any
all eyes on
separations?
me.
New business, 1.
Any other separations?
Like, you were two separated?
Do you want yours separated?
Oh, that's what she just said. That's what she's, or separated one.
Oh, okay.
No other separations? Moving the balance of the agenda, members Brzezinski, Faulkner, Flores, Keys, Troop, Witherspoon, and Nelson. Separated number 1 of new business, sponsored by Councilmember Keys, seconded by Councilmember Witherspoon, resolved by the Council of the City of Erie, whereas the brownfield known as Quinte will not be fully remediated and ready to be used as a safe public space by the ARP program deadline for the allocation of funds. Whereas parks and public spaces are essential to improving the quality of life of Erie residents. Whereas improving the city's parks and public spaces is consistent with the city plans like Erie Refocused, Emerge 2040. Therefore, it is resolved that the City of Erie will transfer $1 million from account known as Quinte 0362313 5066 to ARP Parks account number 03623135070. Discussion?
Ms. Lemus, do we need any comment from the administration on this?
Sure. I just want to clarify that funding, there is going to be a project on that site, and that funding, $1.5 million in total, was set aside to develop a public space on that site. And so while there is an entity that is looking at purchasing the site as part of the Charter School of Excellence expansion, once everything is cleaned up, we were still committed to providing $1.5 million, not to that entity, but to develop the public space on that site. So that's the commitment that we had made to the neighborhood to put a park there, and we would like to be able to continue to do that, whether that's in this account or a different account. We did make that commitment to put a park there. So that, I just will quickly add, that will all be part of the planning that's going to go on in 2024 through the comprehensive citywide Parks and Rec plan.
Do we
Thank you.
know if the proposed charter school has received their certification to operate a charter school yet?
It's Perseus House. They've been operating for 20
Okay.
years. I think. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I will add that I separated this item specifically just so public here or watching could understand more what this was instead of adding it to moving the entire balance. There's a lot of unknowns specifically with this resolution. We don't know if this site is hopeful that it can be cleaned up and be used as a public space, but that is still a bit of an unknown. We know the city does not want to take on the burden of owning another large piece of land, and so a potential partnership, while it's not formalized, with Charter School of Excellence is positive, as they would be the ones maintaining it. It's such a central location. I just wanted to ensure we had some discussion on it, because even though it is early days, this is a really important project. The city is working on more of a comprehensive parks and recreation strategy and plan that is not completed. So I know a lot of folks tuning in completed the park survey online and gave feedback. That will all be incorporated into this plan. I'm excited to see such a central public place, and I do think it must be a priority, and I think as much as we can educate the public on the process, it's important.
Oh, after you.
I know that as a third-class city, we have access to grant funding from the state level, so I'm hopeful that with the comprehensive plan, we can start getting some of those monies for the public spaces and recreation. Our city loves our springs, falls, and summers, not so much the winter, but we definitely do take advantage. So I'm hopeful that with the right people in the right areas, we can keep our eyes on these projects and make sure that the community is being able to access as much public space as possible.
So what we don't have is a signed agreement for our PPP, that's public-private partnership. The property in question has not changed hands yet. They found that it was going to take another $1 million in another year or so in order to clean up this particular property. Just in the caveat of, technically, usually the city does not support the school district because they have their own funding sources and whatnot. I am not in favor of supporting a public facility that is sponsored by a charter school, which gets its money from the taxpayer who gets its money from the City of Erie School District. That being said, this proposal does not dilute the potentiality for that public partnership. What it does is it puts the money into the city's parks and recreation account. So as they talk about, we're going to have a study done next year to decide how we're going to do the parks and the recreation. This puts an extra $1 million in the bucket for not public partnership, not somebody saying we're going to have access to an area that they own. This, I'm recommending that we put this money and we invest this money into the city itself. If this later date they want to support the whatever green space or public space is going to be recommended there, the money is still in the bank. We're not moving, we're not spending this money. We're simply moving this money, putting it under control of the city and of the city parks, and the administration does not have the, I can say, the authority to necessarily promise developers money. And so this is our money, it's for our parks. I want people to get that straight, that it's for our money, our parks, investment in ourselves.
Mr. President, am I understanding this correctly? There's going to be a physical building on the property that the school will own, correct? Mm-hmm. And there's also going to be a park on the property that's public. So that will be another park, correct?
We don't know.
Okay, that's the plan, right?
That's the plan.
Okay.
I heard possibly a soccer field or something like that, not a park per se. So.
But something for the public to use, correct?
Mr. President, bottom line, we're not going to move forward unless and until that ground is clean. Now, I'm an old guy. I've been around when that place was there, and I know that the basement was a 10-foot basement. So you know how bad or how far down that bad dirt is. They're not going to do anything until we're sure that it's clean, and that's really where we're at with it.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I got.
Call for the vote.
Yep.
Councilmember Brzezinski. Faulkner. Flores. Keys. Troop. Witherspoon. Nelson.
Abstain.
Abstain. Motion, resolution passes. Yeas 6, nays 0, 1 abstention. I believe this takes us to committee reports.
All right. Let's go, let's start with Mo.
No, Mo.
I'm going to bounce around with it today.
Mr. President, I just want to say to all the people out there, happy holidays, Merry Christmas if you celebrate Christmas, and all the different holidays that take place during this time of year. Also to our colleagues that are ending their term, congratulations, good job. I've learned a lot from all of you. Susanna, nice job this year. And good luck, and that's all I have today. Thank you.
Ms. Flores?
I don't have necessarily anything to report from the blighted property or the EMTA. The EMTA meeting was going to be through Zoom, and they didn't really have a lot to go over, so I didn't make that meeting. But I also would like to second Mr. Mo on, well, Councilmember Troop on his happy holidays to everyone who celebrates. Anything that you celebrate this season is kind of one of those seasons where you miss the people you've lost, and it brings up a lot of memories. So with that being said, people, make sure you're taking care of yourself, because self-care is very important, and make sure you're spending time with the ones you love and who are in your circle that you appreciate and who encourage you to do your best. I would like to also thank Councilmember Michael Keys and Susanna Faulkner for their last year of service, and Mel for all of his years of dedication to our city. The community definitely appreciates all the efforts you all have put forth, so thank you.
Mr. Brzezinski?
Very good point. It takes teamwork. This is not an easy job. We always can agree to disagree. Sooner or later, we'll find the middle ground. I lost the middle ground with the fee, but I tried. And the bottom line is, I don't want the people out there thinking that we're not listening. Please don't give up on us as a city, because we're not giving up on you. Keep on keeping on. I don't mind you give me calls telling me about the crazy fee increases and the bike paths down Green Garden when you can't get there from 38th Street or down to the Bayfront. This is all real. These are real concerns of our family, our people. I'm getting off the soapbox. My wife tells me that I now have officially a face for radio when she saw me on TV today. But what are you going to do? I want everybody to have a happy holiday, and God bless. See you next year, God willing. Thank you.
Ms. Faulkner?
Thank you, President. Want to echo what a lot of folks have said. I think we've gotten quite a bit done this last year. It's been an honor to serve together, and I've been really grateful for that opportunity. As usual, I do still have a full committee report. Yesterday was the sewer meeting. Tomorrow I'll be attending Water Authority. Not a ton of updates there, more so wrapping up end of the year projects. Some new folks joining those authorities with those appointments. Folks leaving, folks coming. So just getting ready for that. With police, it has been difficult to schedule. Working for those of us who also work full time, working to schedule a ride along. But I am finally doing my full day ride along with the Erie Police Department on Friday. And I will be doing that specifically with the Quebec unit. That's a really unique partnership that the city and the police department has with the housing authority. So I will complete that. Really looking forward to it. Additionally, with police, there were 1,149 calls for service in the last week, so quite an increase from the past week. Also, unfortunately, we were doing pretty good through October and November with gun violence, but in December alone, there have been 3 people shot so far. So just a reminder about safe storage and just generally anything you can do to support our youth in the community. A lot of that gun violence is among teenagers, which is just utterly distressing to watch for all of us as public officials. Beyond that, I want to thank Sister Phyllis Hilbert, who is one of my colleagues at the Sisters of St. Joseph Neighborhood Network, for coming and speaking on the need for public restrooms. It is true, in our community gardens and our urban farm, we have to deal with things like needles, but also human waste, and the need for public restrooms is dire. So I want to add that. In terms of advocating for our unhoused community with this colder weather, it's needed more than ever to do what you can to serve our unhoused neighbors. I spent 2 shifts at our neighbor's place so far in December. They are still looking for volunteers. You can find more information at euma-erie.org. That's euma-erie.org. No special skills are needed to do those shifts. You get to work with other volunteers, essentially just check folks into the overflow shelter. The last time I was there 2 Saturdays ago, it was full. An overflow shelter should never be full. I know I've said this before, but I'm going to keep saying it as long as I have the platform to do it. Also tomorrow is the National Homeless Persons Memorial Day. There will be a service at Perry Square at noon, so that's tomorrow the 21st. And then while I still have a minute and a half, I think it's really important to note, as someone who was appointed to council, as well as the first woman appointed to Erie City Council, which is just wild, hopefully first but not the last. There is still a call for applications for that vacancy. That is open until December 22nd. You can send in your one-page resume and one-page letter of interest to cityclerk@erie.pa.us, and that closes on Friday at noon. I think it's really important for the public to be informed that there are efforts to circumvent that democratic process, and it's so, so important to follow any sort of democratic process. We have to be able to be open and transparent as a government, and so please, I urge you, if you are interested in that appointment, I myself have put my name in, but competition is healthy, and we need to be able to have that process be followed as clearly as possible. So that is the end of my committee report. Thank you, President Nelson.
Mr. Keys.
Earlier today, I attended the airport meeting. It was not contentious. It was a nice meeting. They are still moving forward with trying to find low-cost carriers and still battling some revenue issues, which I hope they get corrected in the very near future. And so some of it was connected to the reduction in flights equals reduction in revenue. Other than that, to pivot, I enjoyed my 4 years here on council. I will, one way or another, I will stay engaged with the community and continue to fight for our community. I was fighting for our community before I was put on council, and I will continue that, especially for the underserved, and continue to be a voice for those who have no voice. One thing I have learned is it's not just about not having a voice, it's about not having the information necessary to make your voice heard and to know what you actually need, where to go to get it in order to get whatever you need to become to make yourself a good citizen or to be whole. And so that's one of the things I've learned, and it's been a good thing to learn. We've had a lot of money while I was on council. It's always fun when you have a lot of money, and 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 we know that certain pockets of money are running out, and certain agencies and whatever are scrambling in order to use the rest of the money of which they have. And so from a city perspective, we have to know that we've had a lot of unanticipated revenue, and it is going to run out. And so I wish my colleagues luck. I wish them the best. It's much more treacherous when they have to figure out where to find money as opposed to where to give money away. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael.
I'm going to break the order and I'll go next.
Hang on one second, Mr. President. We can't let you go untainted. I want to make some comments about how you have grown in your position here. You started as a kid throwing rocks at cars down at the Bayfront. That's how you got your nickname Rocky. Not the smartest thing, but it did give a lot of people notice to what was going on down there on the Bayfront. You've given awards to dogs, unbeknownst to the other 6 of us, which was cool. Sometimes you've kept us in the dark, but I don't think I've ever worked with the president that worked harder day by day and hour by hour than you. I thank you for that. Boy, I hate being nice, but I'm done.
You made sure to throw your jabs in. Yeah, I'm going to go next so that I can leave the last one for Mel. A bit of this is, the this has been, the last 2 weeks have been closing out the year, so it's been a lot of budget work, it's been a lot of legislative work. I want to address, as people talk about where the challenges are with the taxes and, you know, talk about the people on the fixed incomes. There's solutions to that we haven't been able to address yet. And I'm going to thank our controller. She gave me this today, the report and recommendations of the Erie Charter Commission from 1959. That's when we moved to our current mayor-council charter and moved from our previous commission. A home rule charter would be a solution for a lot of those issues. It would be able to change our revenue source off of property taxes so much to income tax. It would get rid of the cap that we have on the income tax to the same degree, so that those on fixed incomes would be better alleviated. It would help owner-occupied houses. Altoona uses it to offer an exclusion to the first 20,000 of owner-occupied houses to make a more progressive taxation system. I would love to see a commission started for that in the next year, or put to the ballot to start a commission. The more and more I hear about what's happening with the Little Olays, I keep seeing that we are the largest city in the state to have not declared distressment yet. Philadelphia is currently in distress, Pittsburgh's distressed, Reading and Allentown have both been distressed with Act 47. We're the largest one to not be distressed yet. And those other cities that are larger than us that have made that turn have moved on to a home rule charter. I think that's one of the heaviest lifts that we can do on council, and I really appeal that would be considered in the next year for the very people that we've talked about concerns with the budget. Other than that, I've been teasing about what the scorecard is, and I'm going to go ahead and rack that up today. I wanted to make sure the last vote passed unanimously, because on the first reading it was 6-1, and I was a little nervous about. But this year, we passed 16 pieces of legislative ordinances. If you look at the end of our agenda, we had 83 pieces of ordinance that made it to final reading. 82 of those passed. Most of those are budgetary, as you saw today. 16 of them were legislative. That was one for the fire pension. And some of these are ones that we might not have driven. They might have been handed down for just practices. Fire pension, the Environmental Advisory Committee, vacancy and foreclosure registration. We updated permit fees, salary update, short-term rentals, bike licensing was removed. So now you no longer have to get a bike license. We updated quality of life ticketing. We updated the organization chart so that the mayor would not fill the role of public safety director, but rather the police chief and fire chief would move into that role. We established a CRIS authority. We passed a bill for tenants' rights. Rules of council were updated. Pedestrian sidewalks. Towing review board was updated. Street naming today and authority residency. That is 16. Every one of those passed unanimously. So I thank you, council, for your hard and diligent work this year coming to consensuses. I want to compare that to previous years, not as just for context. Last year we passed 5 legislative ordinances, 2 of which were contested. The year before that, there was 5 ordinances, 6 ordinances as well, but one of them was directly related, so 5 or 6, depending on how you want the way you want to look at it. The previous year, understanding that COVID made things tough, but 4 ordinances that year. So in Mike Key's 4 years on council, half the legislation you did was this year. Nice. We had a heck of a year, council, and I'm really excited about it. As we passed the budget today, with some recommendations from the administration and also some discussions leading into those recommendations, the budget was $615,777 less than it was when first proposed. Many of those cuts came directly from recommendations of council. I believe this was a more active process this year. And not only cuts, but also we did see some spots where we thought it would be most effective to increase spots. So the net was still a $615,000 cut, but I believe the city will be better for both the cuts and the increases that we're seeing. A lot of that was also the city bringing out some of the grants that have been received that would offset some of the costs, and that's always just a great thing to see. So I thank you guys for having such a great year working together. Just wanted to bring out my scorecard, and it's really our scorecard on the year, and I respect the work that all council did. So with that, the last committee report will come from Mel.
Thank you, Mr. President. No report.
Oh, my Lord.
You're the man.
Keeping it consistent.
Oh, boy.
Mr. Solicitor.
Oh, well, first and foremost, serving a total of 20 years on council and working in the communities and trying to bring people together on a common cause. It takes time, it takes patience, it takes understanding. Not only with our citizens to be heard, because they don't have all the information. They have information from the media. Sometimes the media put a little twist on it. And sometimes they don't get a call back, as we heard today. But in the 20 years, and with all of the council folks I've served with, I've learned from each one. Each personality made me grow. And my advice to all council is listen. Make your decision, but listen. That's important. It is also important to know that after 20 years, I may not go too far. I'll still be involved with the community, of course. And I may be down there and get my 5 minutes. And if I send Lori an extra $10 for Christmas, she'll give me 15 minutes. But President, he did an outstanding job. We didn't agree all the time, but he did an outstanding job, especially holding the secret of this jersey. Did you know about that, Mom?
Yes, we did.
Okay. All the council knew that?
Mom's the word.
All right, well, I tell you what.
They all saw it like in the last couple of days.
Well, I tell you what. All the good things I said about you, forget it. No, when that was presented, I kept saying to the president, "You cold, man. You cold." And that's a street term, that you cold. And he's supposed to tell me. That was something else, because I don't have a jersey with 51 on it.
You do now.
You do now.
And I appreciate that. That is something else. I appreciate it. Mo Troop, when he was running, he came by the house. He says, "Mr. Spoon, when I win, what I'm going to do?" I said, "Mo, you listen your first year. You learn your first year." And that's what he has done. He don't speak a lot unless he's singing. But he studies his stuff. And I appreciate you, Mo. Michael? I don't know. We may get the gloves out. I don't know. Michael brings up a lot of information, and I may not agree with a lot of it, but I hear him, and I'll take parts of it, and I'll take parts of something else, and then we'll make it work. Jazz, she came in like a Tasmanian devil. But I've watched her grow. I've watched her communicate. I've watched her study. And she don't bring nothing to the table unless she's convinced that's the right thing. Eddie B?
Not guilty.
Jury's still out on that. Ed, other than being my driver to get me back and forth, Eddie gets hot behind the collar sometimes when he's making a presentation or making a point. But he has the information before he make that point. And I thank you. Suzanne, you came on with a lot of knowledge based on your experience, your everyday job you do, your grantsmanship, and ask a lot of questions in the caucus, out here. Many of it I never thought of, which in some cases changed my vote after listening to you. Mr. President, you out of sight. You did a great job. You did a great job being the president. And I appreciate you very much. Administration, it's been a pleasure working with you as well. We need to do a evaluation on our legal department. You know, I think it's what, Kretzner, Vetzner, something like that. But anyway, he's a dear friend, and he's always there when I have a legal question. And Teresa, she'll keep me straight. So it's been a pleasure. I'll be here. Hopefully, I get my 5 minutes. And I'm going to miss this cold room. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Mr. Witherspoon.
Thank you.
Solicitor.
I have no report. Just thank you all for a wonderful year, and I look forward to working with you. For those that are departing, it was a pleasure working with all of you, but the three of you that are departing, I'm going to be sorry to see you go, but thank you for everything.
Ms. Lennis.
I echo Attorney Betza, and I just want to say that we've gotten a lot accomplished this year, and I enjoy the give and take because I think everybody brings different perspectives to the table, different experiences, and hearing that, it makes everything that we do stronger and better because if we listen to those voices, then we're capturing things that we missed with our own blind spots. And so I thank you for all that. And we have a lot of exciting things coming up in the new year. In addition to the citywide comprehensive Parks and Rec plan, we'll be working on the 12th Street Reimagined plan, the Safe Streets for All plan, a local climate action plan, implementation of the historic preservation plan, a comprehensive housing strategy, and getting the CRIS off the ground. So there's going to be a lot going on in addition to continuing to apply for as many grants as we can possibly get. And I look forward to getting started in the new year. Happy holidays.
Thanks. All right, and with that, the year is adjourned.
Good night.